And Carter the Beautiful, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good in the hospital, but so excited about my son coming to see me there. I'm feeling fine.
Thank God.
Hmm.
So today's date is July 12th, 2019. I'm with the one and only Helen Carter, who I've known for close to 30
Jesus,
years,
years.
whose kids, Bo and Janice, have been friends and clients and family. And now I'm going to ask a few questions about her life because I just remembered
Come on in.
how beautiful a person she is.
Come on.
Sure. So, Miss Carter, where were you born and when were you born?
I was born really in Greenwood, South Carolina. I was born in February 10th, 1935, but I was brought to D.C. as a baby,
Yes.
and that's where I've been all my life.
Yeah. So when you first came to DC, where did you live?
We lived out in Southwest, is from what I understand.
Yes.
Hmm.
What do you remember about DC in those days?
Those days we had racism. It wasn't the same as it was years ago, and it wasn't like it is now, so much brutality, but you had it and it didn't bother you. You knew your areas, you knew where you were supposed to live, and you knew the schools you were going to, and you were happy.
Yes. And give us the name of your mom and dad.
My mother's name was Cleo Deal, and my father's name was John Deal.
Okay. And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had one brother and one sister who are both deceased.
And what's your brother's name?
John Deal, and the sister's Cleo Deal.
Oh, wow. My condolences. Our Lord, maybe it's a long time ago. And what did John do?
John worked for the post office for a long time, and then he worked for the city when they were building the subway.
Metro.
Uh-huh.
And Cleo?
Cleo, she worked for Woody's department store, Hex department store. She did retail
And when you say Woody,
work.
the young people would know that's Woodward and Lothrop.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes, indeed. It takes old folks like us to know those things.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when I came to D.C., there was Morton's and
Yes.
Garfinkel's and
Yes.
Woodward and Lothrop and
Phillips
Hex.
Bourne, all
Yeah.
those.
All those
yes.
are gone now.
Yeah.
So tell me, where did you go to school?
I went to school, Grimke Elementary.
Grimke, Grimke?
Yes. Shaw Junior High School, Cardoza High School, and I went for a while at Minor, DC Teachers College it's called now, but it was Minor and Wilson. They were split up, Wilson being the white one, Minor being for the blacks. And we had to run from Minor sometime over to the Wilson building, one at 11th and Harvard, and Minor was over at 7th and Euclid.
Yes.
Run between,
Harvard is right there next to Howard. I mean, mine was right next to Howard. Howard
run back
University.
and forth for the classes until they finally combined it and made it DC Teachers.
DC teachers. And so you went to what is now DC teachers. Oh, well, it became UDC.
Yeah, UDC first, and
So what year did you graduate high school?
1953.
Okay, so you remember World War II and President Roosevelt?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Tell
yes.
us what you remember about World War II.
Well, I remember it because I had uncles in it, and every one of them did not come back the same. I just remember that. And I remember my mother taking us down for the procession of the funeral
Of Roosevelt.
of Roosevelt. Yes.
Amazing. So you actually saw President Roosevelt's funeral
Yes,
procession.
I did. Yes, I did.
Because he died in 45.
Yes.
So you would have been about 10 years old. You're
old.
big enough. Amazing, amazing. Tell me about the presidents you've been through. Which, in your view, apart from President Obama, who I'm sure was the best, what are the presidents you remember, and tell me which ones are the best and which ones are the worst?
The ones that's the worst are the one that's in there right now. President Trump.
Yes.
Okay, and there could be none any worse than him. But you go back to the Kennedys, they were good. I didn't think Clinton was too bad. I thought he was pretty nice. Now, the problem he had was his personal problem.
That's right.
Yeah, but he was a good
He
president.
liked the women a little too much.
Yes. But as far as president, I thought he was a good president. So, and there was Kennedy, and then trying to think who was the other one that was pretty bad. Carter wasn't too bad.
Yes.
No, he wasn't too bad.
Was he any kin to you? Because I know you're Helen Carter.
No, he wasn't any kin to me.
Your Carter is your married name.
Yes, that's my
And
married
and
name.
what was your husband's name?
Renfield Carter. He was from Barbados.
Amazing. So you got some island blood in you.
Yes, yes,
And Bo has his name.
yes.
And how many children did you have with him?
4.
Give us your names.
Renfield Carter Jr., Janice Helen Carter, Renee Angela Carter, and Stephen Michael Carter.
Outstanding. And of course, Stevie was my brother and friend of
Yes.
client. He's left us.
Yes.
And we know he's looking down on us now. And of course, Janice, of course, worked with the Department of
Yes.
Justice many years.
Yes.
And Bo, I know, was a senior executive at Verizon.
At Verizon.
And you were with the phone company too.
I was put with the phone company for 23
Was
years.
that Bell?
I was called Bell when I started, and when I left there, it was finally just referred to as
AT&T?
AT&T. I went to the AT&T side when they divested. Judge Green broke it up, said it was a monopoly, and that was not good.
Yes, yes. And Renee, what did Renee do?
Renee has worked for the government and the environmental side
Yes,
ever since she's been out of school.
yes. Tell us about some great events in D.C., like the March on Washington of Dr. Martin Luther King. Were you part of that?
I witnessed it, but I was not part of it.
Okay. Why didn't you go that day?
I'm trying to think if I can remember why I didn't make it. I think I was working that day,
Okay,
and you couldn't just take off work for certain things.
that's right.
That was a deliberate, but you couldn't do it. It's
That's
just
right.
like I remember when they didn't give Martin Luther King a holiday
Yeah.
in a lot of your work environments.
That's right. Let me ask you about the President Kennedy's assassination. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where were you at that time?
Where was I? You're taking me back some. I think I might have been home.
Yeah, it was
I'm just not sure right now, but
Yes.
I'll tell you, it brought a very deep sadness on Washington, D.C. and the country.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What about the assassination of Dr. King in '68?
That was horrible, very horrible. I mean, people cried for weeks and weeks and weeks. He did not deserve that.
Yes,
He
yes.
did not deserve it. But his wife carried on, and now his children are carrying on.
Outstanding, outstanding. And Mr. Renfield Carter from Barbados, did he come to Washington to go to Howard, or?
He came to Washington because he was in the service,
I see.
and then he attended Howard University.
Okay, so what did he study?
He studied dentist first.
I see.
He wanted to be a dentist. And later, I'm not sure. But he did get a PhD and all, and I'm not sure by that time we were separated.
Yes, yes, yes. You come from good stock. So, Ms. Carter, the young brothers and sisters now have a city government. We've got a black female, Mayor Marion Barry, as the mayor. We've had before that Brother Barry, and so on. So we've seen much change in D.C. What are the changes you've seen in D.C. for the status of African Americans from the time you were a kid to now?
Marion Barry was the best. He was the best. He did for his people. He looked out for his people. He looked out for the seniors and the young people. He was the best. His downfall was something that was personal with him.
Just like
But
with Clinton, he liked
yes,
women.
Yes, he liked women. But he was the best mayor D.C. ever had.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
D.C. We all got helped.
That's right. Everybody got, and he also helped rebuild the city too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
A lot of the
And he gave the young people work.
in the summer jobs program.
Yes, when they got out in the summer, they worked.
Yes,
And he saw to that.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. His widow, Carol Masters, taught me American government,
Yes.
and of course I met him. He gave me my degree at the Old Convention Center.
All right.
Yes, he gave my degree upon graduation in 1986 from the University of D.C. In your days, were there black policemen?
Not many. Not many.
And where would you go to the movies?
We had a little movie called Rayfield and Broadway, and they were like right around the corner from where I lived on N Street Northwest. And they were 15 cents.
Yes, indeed.
And
Well,
you could go there and stay all day long.
you could see more than one movie?
You could just sit right through it. Our parents used to send us to the movie so that they would have some time to themselves.
Okay. So you go there what time in the day?
Oh, they'd send us about 12 o'clock in the day, and we just stay.
Wow, until how long? What time?
Maybe about 6 or 7 o'clock, and then we'd head on back home.
Okay, what would you have in the movies to eat?
Popcorn.
Okay. And what other treats or whatever, let's say, events or let's say entertainment would you have as a child in D.C. that you recall?
Well, we did a lot of entertaining ourselves, jumping rope, which of course I don't think the children know about now. Jumping rope, playing jacks, hide and go seek. A lot of games that we did were just games that we did around there that kept us physically active.
Physically fit.
Yeah, because parents didn't believe in you staying in the house during those days.
That's right.
You had to go outside and play.
Did you have any part-time jobs?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I started working at 12 years old, and I worked for this white lady that I had to iron her sons' and husband's shirts and clean the bathroom up and mop the bathroom. Just general housework, light housework.
How much would she pay you?
$5 for that Saturday, and a Coca-Cola and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Amazing. So you would work for $5 for that Saturday.
That's right.
A Coca-Cola and a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
That's right.
And where was that house located?
It was up on Ontario Road, Northwest.
So that was a more wealthy white neighborhood?
Yes, yes.
Were most of the white folks using black people as maids?
Yes, and children. It didn't matter. 12 years old, you know, you wouldn't be hired now anyway too much. But I was then.
Amazing. And what would you do with that $5 she'll give you?
Well, I had to use it for myself, give a little bit for my sister and brother if they needed something for lunch, and that was it.
What was the kind of food you would eat in those days? A typical lunch, what would that be like? What would be the ingredients?
Well, during the time I was with my mother and father before they died, the lunch would be sausage patty, an egg, and that was a sandwich that you took to school for your lunch. And I would throw mine away because I was ashamed for the children to see me eating a sausage patty and an egg, and I should have been proud to have had it.
What did you have for drink?
Well, you didn't have much. They didn't put a drink in there for you, so we didn't get a drink with it.
What would you have for breakfast?
Oh, breakfast, we would end up with grits and a little bit of egg or something, and that's it.
What about for dinner?
Dinner, I learned to cook at 8 years old, and I would cook whatever I felt that I liked.
What were some of your favorites?
Liver, and I would go to the store and get liver and cook it and open up a can of peas or something to go with it, until my daddy got upset and told my mother she had to go to the store from now on because he was sick of eating liver every day.
And what kind of store? What was the name of the store that you had in those days? The supermarket?
You had the little juice store that you could run a bill up. They let the people run a bill. You ran a bill and you paid it off at the end of the week or your payday.
Oh, interesting. What is the name of that store?
That's what it was called, the little corner juice store.
Royal?
That's what it was called.
Royal?
It wasn't called Royal.
Say it again.
The little corner juice store.
Little corner Jew as in Jews.
Yes,
So the
yes.
Jews had stores.
Yes, that's what it was.
So
in
the
my
Jews
day.
had stores in D.C.
Yes.
How did the Jews behave?
Well, they weren't too bad with us because we were their money. That's why they let us run a bill.
Yes.
You could come in and get anything you wanted would go on your daddy's bill. And then your daddy would have to pay it off at the end of the week.
Interesting. The little corner Jew store.
Yes.
I thought you said juice as in
No,
J-U-I-C.
no.
Jew as in J-E-W.
Yeah,
J-E-W.
J-E-W.
Jew store. Wow.
Yeah.
Was there Safeway and Giant in those days?
I kind of remember a Safeway being around. I kind of remember a Safeway.
Yeah. And could you go downtown to try on clothes? People say that black folk couldn't. Is that true?
We went downtown. There was a Goldberg's, a Morton's, and I can't think of the other name of the store. And I could go shop and put it on my mother's bill, her account. Yeah.
Is it true that if you were black, you weren't allowed to try the clothes?
You didn't try the clothes on. You just went in and said you wanted that dress, size 12 or whatever it was.
And that was
You
it?
took it back home.
So
You walked mostly to those stores because they were all located down on F and E.
were the buses segregated?
The streetcars and buses were somewhat, but not like they were in the older days. You could get on it and sit anywhere you wanted to.
Okay. There was no white section or black
No,
section.
no.
And what about drinking fountains and toilets? Were those segregated?
Not here in D.C. When you went out of D.C., yes, they were still there.
Like in which states?
When we went to South, there was big signs, colored only, white only, but not in D.C. I don't remember seeing any of that.
When you were in D.C., would you visit like Northern Virginia or Prince George's County in those days, or would you just stay in D.C.?
I never went into Northern Virginia.
Why not?
I guess it just was something that you stayed in your area.
I see.
We really didn't go uptown near the zoo or anything unless we were working for somebody.
So you didn't go to the zoo during your entire time?
Oh, we went, but most of the time when you went up there, those houses were nice, Macomb Street and all that. You were working for somebody. Now, our parents on Easter Monday, every Easter Monday, they would take us to the zoo.
I see. And that's the National Zoo on Wisconsin Avenue.
Yes.
No, is it Wisconsin
It's
or
not
Connecticut?
Wisconsin.
Connecticut.
Yes.
Connecticut Avenue, across from the Wardman Hotel.
Yes.
I see. What about the Smithsonian? Would you go down to the Smithsonian?
Yes, they took us to the various museums. They really did.
And what about the White House? Did you go there for the White House egg roll, Easter egg roll?
No.
Why
never
not?
Did. I don't know. My parents were working 12 hours a day, and we didn't. But we would go down on July 4th and see the fireworks.
Indeed, indeed. What about Cherry Blossom Parade?
We would go down there because at that point, Haynes Point was where we went to get the air conditioning. We could go there and lay out, sleep there all night, and nothing bothered.
You kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
You're saying Haynes Point along the Potomac River is where you went for air conditioning?
Yes, we would lay our blankets and sleep there
All night?
all night.
How many people?
Your family. All our family would go and lay out.
Because it was so hot in D.C.
Yes.
So you had no air conditioning
We
in your
had
house?
no air conditioning, no fans at that time.
Yes.
Now, when I was 12 and about 13, I went to live with an aunt because of the death of my mother and those, and they finally bought one fan that cooled between the two rooms.
Amazing. You'd go down with your blanket to Haynes Point
Yes.
and sleep on the grass?
And it's not the same now. You can't do that now.
Amazing. So there would be hundreds of people there?
Yes.
And nobody would bother anybody?
Nobody would bother you.
Amazing. Did you all have a car in your family?
No, never had a car. We rode the streetcar and enjoyed it because you got a pass and you could ride all day long on that streetcar.
Who were the famous African American artists of those days, like singers and actors?
Trying to think of some. Pearl Bailey. Gosh, if I could remember all those
Duke
names.
Ellington,
Yes,
Satchmo,
yes.
Lena Horne,
As much as I went to Howard. But
what's his name?
I think James Brown came along when I was
Yeah.
about 18-ish or so.
What about Frank?
Ruth Brown,
What about Nat King Cole?
Nat King Cole, several of them.
And of course, you had people like Stevie Wonder and Otis Redding.
Yes, but then the guy that died, I can't think of his name, that sang those beautiful songs. We had some good singing artists.
Roberta Flack.
Doing it. She wasn't quite during that time.
Yeah, she came afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. You went to Howard also, Miss Carter?
No, I didn't go to Howard.
You went to what is now UDC.
Yes.
Yes. What did you study there?
It was before my Renee was born. She was born in, I would say maybe like 1958.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, any final message to the people of D.C. and the young black boys and girls who are coming up as to what they should do to live a successful life and serve their community?
They really need to get to learn to love each other. People are so selfish now. It's not about one person. It's not about me, but they need to get together. Work hard, study. You need to go to college. You need to get your studying in. You're really going to need all that. And I encourage young people, please, please Go to school. Go to school. And that's and also my main peak is dress correctly.
Yes.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
You don't want them to be having their pants falling off the behind or anything.
No.
Yes, indeed.
You know, you got to dress for success. You can't just go around looking anyway, talking anyway, and they need to learn that.
I can tell you, Mother Carter, after having known you almost 30 years, you're always well-spoken and beautiful
Oh,
and professional.
that's just growing up.
And you worked for the phone company for almost 50 years.
No. I retired with 23 years.
I see. Outstanding.
I
Well,
worked in the school system prior to that.
what did you do in the school system?
I was a substitute, and then I was the main office clerk in there,
I
out
see.
at North Brentwood.
Outstanding. Well, I'm going to wrap up now, and I want to let you know it's been an honor and privilege to have been with you for this half hour or more, and to taking some of your life history. I have a quick question just about history. How important was Abraham Lincoln growing up? You knew about Abraham Lincoln, and what did black folk think about him?
You know, we think probably that he did more than I think he really did. And I know you're wondering why I'm saying that. Because there's so much now that people are looking at that they're wondering. But we didn't get a real feel of him. We're going by what was said.
Yes. What is the white president or the president of the United States who you feel has done the most for African Americans from your time?
I kind of once thought it was the Kennedy. I really did. I thought it was Kennedy. Yeah.
What about Johnson?
Johnson was good, but I wonder if he really was totally for the blacks,
Yes.
or he was doing what would help him stay in there.
Yes, I see. Yes, I see. And when President Obama became president, how did you feel?
Excited, happy, and I really felt God had answered our prayers.
Yes,
He really had. If we never see it again in life, we saw a black man in the White House.
Yes, indeed.
And that's the way I look at it. I wrote him a letter, and he answered my letter personally,
Amazing.
which I'm going to have to let you see.
Absolutely.
He really did. And I told him, don't worry about your legacy. It's already planted in our hearts.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
A great president.
Great man, man of dignity and character.
Yes.
I want to thank you, Mother Carter. God bless you. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to get some real down-home history. And I didn't ask you about shoes. How many shoes could you afford in those days?
One pair of shoes a year is what you got when I was growing up. They were black and white Oxfords that you wore. You couldn't wear them out. They had to get too small for you. That was your shoes for the year, and you got a church pair. That was it.
That was it.
And now these kids have shoes enough to open up a shoe store.
Amazing. You know, some shoes enough to open up a shoe store.
Yes. But we had one pair school shoes for the year and one pair of dress shoes for church. But you were going to church.
Yes. I say, young people should do more to save their money than buying all this stuff.
Oh, yes. But you got to train them young, Gabe. You got to train them young. You got to encourage them to save and to put away something. If not, they're going to spend it all as fast as they get the checks. They don't look out for tomorrows. We had to learn to look out for tomorrows because stuff wasn't just given to us. We had to earn it. I did more work in some of these white people houses than the average person now that's grown probably.
Thank you, Mother Carter. Any final words on our relationship and the Carter family and the Christian family?
No, the Christian family is my family and we love them. Oh God, we love them. And they're so good, such good people. Good people, compassionate people, that love comes before anything else with them. And I just love them to death.
We love you too, Mother Carter, and God bless you. And we think it's been a high honor and privilege for us to be your obedient servants and to be part of your wonderful family. And I just ask God to keep you with us for many, many more years because you're a joy of all lives, as our own mother is the joy of all lives. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And I know Brother Bo is going to come on in here soon and get you out of here and get you home,
Yes,
okay?
yes,
To
yes.
God be the glory. To God be the glory. Great things He has done.
Thank you, and thank you for my bracelet with my cross on it.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and my
let me see
balloon.
it.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
that's
And
God.
thanks God, and your balloon is up here.
Yes,
Amen.
keep God in your heart.
Thank you. Thank you.